Namaste, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to discuss with you some thoughts about nutrition and healthy living practices. So, I'm actually a practicing interventional cardiologist, and I've been doing interventional cardiology for almost 40 years. And having seen these patients that present with heart disease, with blockages or heart attack, or for interventions, angioplasty, stents, and bypasses, there's one common theme that I found out in all these patients was that there are certain practices that they did were in common in those people, which resulted in those blockages coming over and over again. And then I started looking more deeply into that and found out that there were certain areas of their living, the way they lived their lives, and that was contributing to these illnesses. So that way of living is really what your lifestyle is. And your lifestyle basically is the way you eat, the way you move, the way you think, the way you behave, and the way you live. And that has profound impact on your lifestyle, which in turn goes on and determines whether you would or you would not succumb to those lifestyle illnesses that I'm about to discuss with you shortly. So let me share my screen with you. Okay, so these 9 are called lifestyle disorders, and WHO also calls them non-communicable diseases. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, overweight, obesity, truncal obesity, heart attack, stroke, dementia, chronic kidney disease, and some cancers. And you can also add to that chronic liver disease because of certain health habits, fatty liver, and also the chronic obstructive lung disease. So, what you may find shocking or you may find new is that sooner or later, 80% of us end up getting one or more of these problems. And what also is actually concerning is that 80% of your health budget is going to be spent upon either managing directly or indirectly the consequences of these health conditions, either in the form of medications, hospital visits, procedures, surgeries, or medications. Also, 80% of us in this day and age eventually will actually end up dying as a direct or indirect consequence of one or more of these health conditions, eventually leading to a heart attack or a stroke or cancer or one of those conditions. But there's a good news. And the good news is that 80% of these illnesses can actually be prevented, controlled, or cured by doing certain changes in your lifestyle. Now, it's very important for the parents to understand this. So, parents' obligation to change their lifestyle is actually twofold. Number one, you do need to take care of your health to avoid these illnesses, to have long life. It's pretty obvious. In addition, you're caretakers of some children with special needs who need you for a long period of time in good health so that you can take care of them. So that's the second reason why you need to keep yourself healthy by having a healthy lifestyle. And there is an additional important reason for you is because children pretty much watch and copy what they see parents doing. So if your lifestyle is unhealthy, the children's lifestyle will also be unhealthy, and they will also eventually succumb to these problems without any fault of theirs, just by mimicking what they saw you doing. So when I dissected all these, I found out that all of these illnesses and the mechanisms and all the disorders that come in, you can actually pretty much prevent, modify, control, or cure by making changes in these areas of your life, in your diet and nutrition, in your activity and sleep, managing stress in an appropriate way, and changing your health habits in such a way that you avoid unhealthy habits. And based on these, we put together a program that we have been doing, and we have had several hundred people that have gone through that and benefited in modifying, changing, or preventing their lifestyle disorders. And a few of these practices I'm going to discuss with you today. So here you see how kids are so beautifully when they saw us doing all these practices, and they started copying too. So it's very important, therefore, for us to really lead a healthy life, because we are the mirror in which the children see their future. And therefore, it's very important that we also go into these practices. It's beautiful and inspiring. So to see these beautiful children with special needs doing all these beautiful yoga poses. So the first part we talked about was the nutrition. Now, nutrition is a very important component of our life. And when we focus on nutrition, we're not talking about this carbohydrate, this protein, or this fat, and how much, and calories, and those kind of things. What we're really talking about is, what is it that in ideal nutrition should do so that you don't develop the lifestyle disorders. So number one is, the ideal nutrition should not give you lipotoxicity. So remember, if your food is rich in sugar and rich in fat, and it results in you developing truncal obesity, the weight that you collect around your trunk, that truncal obesity is not just a cosmetic aberration. It's not just something that makes you look the way you look. In fact, over a period of time, this becomes an independent hormonal organ of your body and starts secreting certain substances called lipotoxin, the toxins that come from these fats that can cause inflammation in your body and cause problems with the lifestyle disorders. There are certain foods that have certain chemicals in them that actually cause inflammation. So therefore, to prevent inflammation, you have to avoid those food items. You also have to have certain foods that give you healthy gut bacteria that produce the probiotics. The food, as we call, should be prebiotic. It should be a food that is congenial to your health and also to the health of the bacteria that inhabit your gut, so that they end up producing substances that help your health. Do you know that a human body has actually more bacteria than cells in the body? So all our nasal passages, our mucus passages, our gut, all over our skin, there are millions and millions and millions and millions of bacteria. And they live on us. So whatever we consume is what they consume. And they also symbiotically, living in our body, produce substances, whether healthy or unhealthy, depending upon how we are feeding them, healthy or unhealthy diet. So that's very important. And you also have to understand, food that provides antioxidants constantly in our body, the cells are repairing, regenerating, and renewing. Old cells die and the new cells are formed. And this process is continuous throughout our life. And in fact, for example, every day we produce new white blood cells. Every 120 days, you produce red cells, and then every 10 days, you produce new platelets and skin and all these cells. For example, nails, see how the nails grow, and then you clip your nails, hair grow, and you cut your hair. So all these things, these cells are actually repairing, regenerating, duplicating, and multiplying on a daily basis. And when these cells are resorbed, for example, the old cells that are removed from the body, they produce certain substances, and they are called oxidants. They provide free radical, and the free radical in the body can do injury to the body and cause inflammation. So there are certain things in our nutrition which are called antioxidants, which can prevent this. And we'll talk about what kind of food provides the antioxidants. The nutrition of the food that you eat should also provide sufficient fiber. And fiber has many advantages. Number one is, fiber is what the bacteria in your gut eat and therefore colonize. And if you have friendly fiber that they eat, you get friendly bacteria, and they produce friendly chemicals that make you feel happy and that give you good health. In addition, fiber creates regularity in your bowels. Fiber prevents certain cancers, for example, colon cancer. Also, fiber slows down the absorption of sugar when you eat it. And by doing so, especially in diabetics, it helps regulate your blood sugar. Now, something called phytochemicals. These are chemicals that are present in plant cells, and most of them actually are coloring agents. For example, the chlorophyll that you see, which gives green color to vegetable, is a phytochemical. Same way, the red capsicum, yellow papaya, or red apple, or red tomato, all these red color, yellow color, or the purple color of blueberries, or the black color of the blackberries, all these colors are called phytochemicals. They are very profound and potent antioxidants, and they provide you these substances in your body that actually heals inflammation, prevents lipotoxicity, prevents inflammation, and helps you stay healthy. And therefore, it's very important to eat a diet which provides you sufficient fiber and sufficient phytochemicals. And obviously, it should give you minerals and vitamins because that's the backbone of so many metabolic processes in our body. Okay, there are certain food ingredients that we should really avoid, and they are polished rice, which is rice from which the bran has been removed, and that bran actually is what provides the fiber. And likewise in the wheat, if you remove the bran, you get white flour. And then sugar, salt, fatty oils, and too much dairy. These are all pro-inflammatory. Dairy has another problem because dairy has no fiber. So if you have taken care of your daily requirements of nutrition through dairy, you're not going to eat too many plants, and therefore you're going to prevent yourself from eating fiber, which is healthy for you. So the substitution that dairy causes with the calories in your life denies you the benefit of the fiber that you will get from eating plants, and therefore you should minimize dairy. So where do we get these antioxidants? As I told you, so look at these vegetables and the fruits. So beta carotene, deep yellow, orange carrots, cantaloupe, squash, pumpkin, lutein in green leafy vegetables, spinach, collard green, kale, lycopene, which is in tomatoes, watermelon, papaya. You know that lycopene prevents prostate cancer. Lutein gives you eye health. And you know those eye vitamins that you get, they're loaded with lutein, selenium, vitamin C, and vitamin E that gives you the immunity. All these healthy antioxidants and these chemicals are actually rich in the plants. So the more you eat plants, more of these rich, healthy antioxidants you get. The more you eat this plant close to nature, either raw, for example, eating fruits or salads, or as close to nature, for example, steamed, the better. The more you actually denature them by frying them deep into skillets and also taking long time of cooking at high temperature, you denature the antioxidants. And therefore, it's important to have a diet full of plants, but at the same time, cooked in such a way that all the chemicals that are healthy are retained in the diet and not destroyed. So now you got it. So these four groups, broadly speaking, the fruits, grains, legumes, and vegetables, if this is the foundation of your diet, you're getting all those things that I talked about, the phytochemicals and the fibers, and you're getting all the antioxidants, you're getting substances, the antioxidants fight inflammation, you're preventing lipotoxicity because you're not going to be obese and fat, all these benefits that you get if you really maximize these four. And there's a very simple way to do it. If you think about any diet, any food that you're eating, so you don't have to think about calories or proteins or carbohydrates and all those complex things. I give you a very simple, straightforward way of feeding yourself 3 times a day. So this is, let's say, for example, a 12-inch plate, and you make 4 quadrants. And those 4 quadrants, you put fruits in 1 quadrant, grains in 1 quadrant, vegetables in 1 quadrant, and legumes. And legumes are the peas, the grams, the chickpeas, the lentils, the beans, the lima beans, black beans, kidney beans. They're all legumes. And they're a very rich source of protein. So if this is how you eat 3 meals, you're getting just about every nutrition that you need and getting all the phytochemicals, you're getting all the fibers that you need. Now, you could actually also do it, stagger it. For example, you may eat fruit only at one time and eat all 4 portions of fruit and not eat fruits with your second or third meal. Or you could maximize grains in one and minimize vegetable in the other, and vice versa. But if this is the theme that you keep throughout the day, you are getting everything that you need in nutrition to prevent these lifestyle disorders. So to summarize on these, 4, we call them our IWSP, Integrated Wellness, Science and Practice. That's a program, the Dietary 10 Commandments. So the 4 that you have to maximize in your life in order for you not to develop those lifestyle disorders is to maximize fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes. So don't eat polished rice or polished grain. Try to eat whole grain and add legumes. The 3 that you really need to minimize is the sugar, oil, and salt. Now, sugar, you must have seen, if you give sugary drink, for example, these sodas or the Coke, Pepsi, those kind of drinks to children. Do you know that 1 glass of Pepsi or Coke or 7-Up or Thumbs Up has 7 teaspoons of sugar in it? Each teaspoon of sugar is 5 grams of sugar. So it's 35 grams of sugar in just 1 cup. So when was the last time as an adult you ever had a cup of tea where you put 7 spoons of sugar? Never, right? But if you give this 1 cup or 1 glass of this beverage to your child, no wonder he's going to be hyper and running around. And also the sugar that they have not consumed by being hyper and running around, they store in their body. And that is what gives them the truncal obesity, and that's what gives them the lifestyle disorders. So always try to minimize sugar in your diet and sugar in the diet of the children. Same with the oil. Use only a pinch of salt and a hint of oil to cook. I know that's very difficult to have Indian food without oil and salt, but the more you move away from oil and salt, the more healthy diet you're having. Do you know that 3,000, 4,000 years ago, we never had this blood pressure and these kind of problems because there was no salt consumed. Salt is a modern invention. And now we have an abundance of salt. Salt is in every food that we eat. All the processed foods are loaded with salt, the chips, anything that comes in a can, packet, package, bottle, all of these have preservatives. And the most common preservative is sodium, along with other preservatives in it. So don't eat anything that comes packaged in a bottle, in a can, in a packet, because it has chemicals that you do not need. So again, with the animals, the problem with the animal food is that it does not have phytochemicals, it does not have fiber, there are antioxidants. And in addition, animal protein gives you tremendous amount of fat with it. So if you want to have 20 grams of protein from chicken or from beef or from pork or from goat meat, you're also getting 20 grams of fat with it. Whereas if you get the same 20 grams of protein from lentil or from chickpeas, then you're only having the protein with no fat. So whenever you consume animal protein, no doubt it has great amount of protein, animal food, but that animal protein comes with a price. You also end up getting the same amount of fat with it. And that's why you must be noticing these days more and more athletes, performance people are moving to a whole food plant-based diet and moving away from animal diet. And we already talked about dairy and the processed food. So another important thing is, it is not only important to know what to eat and what not to eat, but it's also important to know how to eat. Now, these days, we are all pressed for time, and therefore, most of our diet really is a fast food type diet where we gobble, gulp, and go. And these are not good. If you ever have problem in your life with indigestion, sour eructations, or bloating, or abdominal distension, or constipation, or irritable bowel syndrome, this is part of the problem. If you do not eat small plates, small bites, chew properly, eat slowly, appreciate food, take at least 20 minutes to finish your food, eat mindfully. If you eat mindfully the food, give it time, then your body secretes the appropriate enzymes that are needed to digest. You know that it takes about 20 minutes for your hypothalamus to know whether you are full or not. So how do you know when you're eating, whether you have eaten enough or not? we all get guided by something called satiety. Our appetite comes, we start eating, and then we say, okay, I think I'm full now. That fullness that comes, it comes from your hypothalamus. Unfortunately, for the hypothalamus to get the first signal of fullness, it takes 20 minutes. So if in 20 minutes you're loaded your stomach, you'll go on eating because there is no fullness sensation. The fullness sensation to come needs at least 20 minutes to propagate to the hypothalamus, for hypothalamus to tell you that you've eaten enough. So that's the other reason people that eat slow do not gain weight. Every meal that you eat, make sure you take at least 20 minutes. Chew properly. When you chew properly, you increase the surface area of the food and you allow enough time for the saliva to mix with it and the digestion becomes better. So people that eat slow and mindfully and chew properly, they do not have all these digestive problems that I talked about. And also, it helps you keep your weight low because it gives you the signal that you've eaten enough because you're extending your meal time to 20 minutes. And that's the art of mindful eating. Okay, so changing gears. As I said, lifestyle is not just what you eat. Lifestyle also is the way you move, the way you think, and the way you behave. And we think that exercise and yoga and all those practices are additional complementary practices for healthy living. It's good to do exercise. Exercise makes you feel good. It secretes certain hormones in your body. For example, dopamine, you feel joyful, you feel energetic, and it helps you gain strength. And all those things are great and also relaxes you. But yoga affects all three. It gives you good physical body health. It also gives you mental peace and health. And it also elevates your spirit. So we think that yoga is a superior lifestyle to exercise. But being active is paramount. So if you just walk 10,000 steps a day, perfect. If you go to gym 3 days a week and you do some exercise and at least 150 minutes a week, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week is the optimal amount of exercise that's needed to prevent lifestyle disorders, along with 2 sessions of 25 minutes, total of 50 minutes a week of strength training, such as weights or isometric exercise. So that is the minimum required physical activity to prevent lifestyle illness. But if you're doing yoga, 45 minutes to an hour a day, 5 days a week, you're getting all that, along with the benefit on your mind and the benefit on your spirit. So how does yoga help? Yoga helps your endothelial function. Remember, I told you in the beginning, these blockages that develop in your arteries, the arteries are lined by one cell structure called endothelium. And what you put inside your mouth eventually ends up in a bloodstream and bathes the inner lining of your blood cells, of your endothelial cells. And if you put in more fatty, more sugary food, it injures the endothelium. Endothelium is also affected by the mental state that you have. So it's very important to know that you have to have a diet, you have to have an activity level which is conducive to endothelial health. And also the other benefit is antioxidant, and it restores circadian balance. Now, this is something new. Some of you may have heard it, you may have not heard it. Circadian balance, circadian rhythm simply means that going around in circles. And the most important and obvious example of circadian rhythm is the sun cycle. You see the sun rises and you get daylight, and the sun sets and you get night. And based upon that, actually, how our brain also responds. Our brain, through our eyes, gets signals that this is daylight. The suprachiasmatic nucleus gets stimulated, and then it tells your pineal gland, look, it's daytime. Don't do anything, and you stay awake. Again, when the sun goes down, you get this signal through the suprachiasmatic nucleus to your pineal gland, or it has become dark. So it tells the pineal gland to secrete a hormone called melatonin. And then melatonin is what puts you to sleep. And then you wake up. So this is the sun's cycle. Then it's your wake and sleep cycle. Similarly, there are organs in your body and the cells in your body that go through the same cycle. They all have time where they activate and work. For example, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, and digestive organs. And there are times when they go to rest. When they are not functioning, they are resting, rejuvenating, and replenishing themselves. So, what this means is that you have to lead a lifestyle which has fixed timings of sleep, waking up, rest, relax, eating at same time every day so that the clock in these organs get set to that pattern. And when you're eating, for example, your pancreas, your stomach, and your gallbladder and your liver secretes all the enzymes that are needed to digest the food. And if they know all these organs that you eat at 8 a.m., 1 p.m., and 7 p.m., then that is when they become activated, and they know that in between they rest. So let's say you're in a managerial position and you guys are executives. If you really have a workforce and you randomly keep picking people from your workforce, do this at this time, don't do this now, okay, you do this now, or you don't do this now, and creates a haphazard pattern in your workforce of telling them something to do at a certain time and not to do at a certain time without any proper time regulated assigned task. What kind of workforce you're going to get? It's going to be very disorganized workforce, and it's going to be very non-productive workforce. It's exactly the same way. The cells in your body and the organs in your body have to have an organized, disciplined way of living. And that is when they function best. And yoga practice, actually, by de-stressing you, and also by the practice of yoga that you do on a regular basis, you develop this discipline in your life and you restore your circadian balance. When your circadian rhythm is balanced, you get good health. And yoga also helps you fight inflammation. So, what is the difference between yoga and gym? Gym is good, but yoga gives you all four. The exercise that you do should give you strength, endurance, and also flexibility and balance. And yoga gives you all four. And that's why we recommend that you should do yoga. You should also do breath focus to de-stress. And you should also do meditation, preferably 10 to 20 minutes a day. And there have been studies done on meditation. You not only get great health benefits of meditation in terms of feeling relaxed or getting rid of depression, anxiety, you also have actually profound changes that happen at your mitochondrial level. You have profound changes that happen at genetic level. People that meditate on a regular basis, they have actually done their functional MRI and found out that their areas of the brain that give you fear and anxiety, they shrink. And the areas of the brain that gives you happiness and joy, they enlarge. The people that meditate also, they've seen that they have the telomeres at the end of your chromosomes, which provide you the health of the chromosome, they elongate, and that's what gives you longevity in life. People that meditate can actually modify the genetic expression, and meditation actually modifies diseases by changing your genetic expression. So the profound benefits of yoga, meditation, and pranayama. So yoga also improves stress, it improves emotional health, it promotes healthy eating, improves balance, and gives you good sleep. So sleep is very important. We need 7 hours of sleep, healthy sleep every day. In order for you to sleep well, there are certain sleep hygiene principles that you really need to know. And there has to be a regularity. There should be a fixed time to go to bed and a fixed time to wake up. Why? Because remember I told you the circadian alignment principle? Your circadian rhythm aligns to the clocks of your body align in a certain way if you do things in a regular fashion. And if you're not doing that, if you're not aligning your circadian rhythm to the sun cycle, your sleep is going to be disturbed. And same way, the blue light, these days we have lots of these gadgets, the WhatsApp, the phone, the cell phone, computers, smart screens, smart TVs, they all emit what is called blue light. And the blue light tells your suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain that it is daylight. It mimics daylight. So your brain then thinks, let's say 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, you're watching TV. The blue light is going in your mind. The blue light is telling your mind it's bright sunshine. So if it tells the mind bright sunshine, the pineal gland shuts off. It does not secrete melatonin. So if you watch TV until 11 p.m., you're not produce any melatonin now because your mind thinks it's daylight. You're not going to get sleep. As simple as that. So what do you do then? The sleep hygiene is that 3 hours before you go to bed, there should be nothing in your stomach. Your stomach should be empty so that all the body organs are resting. You can't have whole meal at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. and immediately go to bed. You're going to have, in addition to the problems of indigestion, you've gone to sleep, but your pancreas is working, your liver is working, your gut is working. How can you sleep? You cannot. In addition, if you are up until 11 o'clock with this blue light, there is no melatonin. So you're not going to be able to sleep. So 3 hours before you go to bed, there should be nothing in your stomach. You should not watch any TV. You should not do any blue light activity, for example, watching cell phones or computer screens and those kind of things. And then you're going to sleep well. Also, keep all these flashing lights, the cell phones out of your room, out of the bedroom. And the room should be warm, ideal temperature, whatever your body likes, and it should be sufficiently dark in order for you to sleep well. You should also get sunshine during the day. 10 to 20 minutes of sunshine does wonders. Sunshine is not just a supplement for vitamin D, but sunshine also resets your circadian rhythm, because if you go out in the sun in a broad daylight, unfortunately these days, especially in the West, we spend days on end in artificial light. Sometimes we don't go out of the home at all in winter months, and we're just in this light all the time, artificial light, and that's not good for health. And the other important practice that you need to know is that you should know certain numbers: your weight, your cholesterol, your triglycerides, your hemoglobin A1C, and all these numbers you should know. So when you go to your doctor, make sure that he writes on a piece of paper these numbers for you, and we can have this actually emailed to you or sent to you through WhatsApp. You have a whole list of 7 numbers that you need to know. This is important to know those, because these are the numbers, if appropriately managed by following the appropriate practices that we talk about, you prevent the lifestyle illnesses and you get a healthy living, and you help to prevent blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, truncal obesity, heart attack, stroke, chronic kidney disease, chronic liver disease, etc. So thank you for giving me the time to share some basic principles of healthy living with you. And healthy living is the one that is regulated. Healthy living is the one that's disciplined, which has the appropriate nutrition that we talked about, which takes into account a regulated life that helps you sleep better, reduces stress in your life. It's physically fairly active, preferably through yoga, meditation, pranayama, that helps you then prevent illnesses. And also remember, for the parents, your children are watching you all the time. And if they see you doing those practices, they will also have a healthy life and will all benefit. So thank you very much.